The Fox Texas trio is back to discuss our interview with Morris Denton, who owns a licensed medical marijuana dispensary. He is part of an effort to expand the compassionate use marijuana law in the upcoming session. Stephen, my word was potluck. I think they're going to need some luck to get this thing done, but decriminalization ordinances did pass in the November general election. Several towns, Denton up in North Texas, one of them. Is that a good sign? State lawmakers will expand compassionate use? What do you think?
I think you used the right word. They're going to need some help. But this is the thing, depending on who you talk to, the use of marijuana, especially in medicinal, chronic pain, compassionate use ways, it's not a partisan issue. There are Republicans and Democrats who both agree that the use of marijuana can be used to help people that are experiencing these different medical reasons. And so I think the country is changing. Missouri just approved recreational marijuana. That's not what they're doing in Texas. And I think what may hurt the push in Texas is a narrative of trying to tie it to, oh, they're just trying to make the devil's lettuce legal in Texas. And so they will need some help.
Greg, Democrats won Houston. It's a big medical hub, but there's also a big crime problem there. How do you think state lawmakers in that part of the state feel about expansion?
Rudy, my guess is that if you had a marijuana referendum on legalization in Houston, it would pass, and pretty easily. Now, that said, there's just so much rock-solid medical research confirming the relief delivered by cannabis to a wide array of Texans suffering an equally wide array of conditions. There are truly compelling reports of medical marijuana helping folks contending with Parkinson's, for example, and delivering life-changing relief to children who suffer seizures. I think the Houston delegation would largely support this legislation, mostly because the science is there.
Now, during a recent hearing on the border, a North Texas sheriff testified how marijuana products from Colorado were being smuggled into that area of the state. Stephen, what's being proposed isn't Colorado legalization, but do you feel the medical use message could get lost by that in the upcoming debates?
Yeah, and it really depends on which voices are louder, right? And which voices the people in Texas have elected to send to Austin to make these decisions. And so if the louder voice is tying it into the narrative of, oh, well, this is a slippery slope and this will go to this. Now, I will say there probably is going to be a push in the next 10 years, a louder push or a more funded push in Texas to make recreational marijuana legal, like it happened in red Missouri and other states. But for right now, the issue that we're talking about, I think it may get lost in the mix of the bigger national narrative.
Yeah, that crime monster is always there and lurking. The expansion, though, pushed through, the last one that we had, pushed through by military veterans with PTSD. I think they're going to factor into these new debates. What do you think, Greg?
Absolutely. It gives conservative lawmakers plenty of legitimate cover, particularly given the devastating rate of suicide we've seen among those who've served the country in combat. Now, the biggest roadblock I see is the slippery slope argument. That is, green-lighting medical marijuana represents a stepping stone to full recreational legalization, which many Republicans fundamentally oppose. Now, the polls consistently tell us that opposition represents a minority viewpoint in the Lone Star State and probably a shrinking position in the legislature as well. As we see more and more evidence, society hasn't collapsed in states that have fully legalized, regulated, and taxed pot. As for compassionate use legislation, we can expect some incredibly compelling testimony from Texans whose lives have been changed for the better and even saved by access to cannabis-based treatment.
All right, another look at our interview can be found on our YouTube sites.
And the conversation continues as we push forward topics on our social media sites like Twitter and TikTok.
And join us next week for Texas The Issue Is as we enter the month of December to see what hot button political issues emerge from the Texas legislature. Remember to let us know what you think the issue is.